Hey guys, thanks for coming. A couple comments about our game. Very pleased with, once again, the message to players and their excitement about playing in a great stadium showed when they come out fast and played hard. I think the momentum switch of the game was the opening kickoff. I believe we hit 1 to 10 and tackled 1 to 12. One of the best kickoff performances I've seen as far as guys running down the field. The rest of the game, we had some mistakes, but it wasn't because of effort. Really, Armani Reeves was special team part of the week, and he did some phenomenal things for us. It's great to have him back at that position on kickoff. Obviously, offensively, they have our quarterback go down early in the game on that first drive. It was a blow, but our team responded. It's an incredible case study, arguably one of the greatest that I've been around as far as, your backup quarterback selected captain. And just, I think that'd be, once again, an interesting case study. I'm going to do it after the season. And I wonder how many times that's happened. The backup quarterback selected captains, there was no really surprise internally, maybe externally. But internally, he was one of the leading vote getters. He's a guy that I was talking to Philly Brown the other day, and just there's a lot of respect for Kenny Geiger. Everything, the way he handles his business, and where he's come from. Once again, an incredible case study. What Kenny's done for this program in our brief tenure here. But the way they play, he distributed the ball very well. He moved the ball around. We have to do better in the open field as far as breaking tackles. I would grade us a minus. We protected the quarterback much better in this game against a team that blitzed from, they got off the bus blitzing. It's one of those kind of defenses. We did a little more 6- and 7-man protection. That just means we kept extra guys in there because of that, and it worked. And I thought overall on offense that we did a fairly good job. The champions on offense were Scooby York, played very well. Had some incredible efforts down the field on Kenny's long run. Had him knocked down about 35 yards down the field, 30 yards down the field on his long touchdown run. And 3 explosive plays. He was the key guy that got us to the second level. Jeff Hireman is starting to play like Jeff Hireman again. He played very well, graded out a champion, had a 1 explosive play, 2 catches, 33 yards. Wide receivers, we had 2 of them, Philly Brown, 2 big plays. Our intent was to get him involved. He had 6 catches, 73 yards, 1 excellent catch, and the other one was just great technique as far as boxing out a defender. That was, I've been very critical of the wide receivers, but he's a wide receiver now. He's starting to box out defenders. He's starting to do things he asks wide receivers to do, not just go out there and try to run fast once in a while. But he's getting better. Evan Spencer only had 1 catch, but he graded out very high and did a nice job. And the offensive player of the game was the old right-hander, Kenny. Did a very admirable job in all areas, distributing the ball, making the right checks. A lot of what you saw was him controlling the game as far as making checks. Honorable. On defense, I thought I watched it. I didn't have time yesterday. I watched it this morning, and we're getting close to the kind of defense that I have a dream of seeing, and that's aggressive guys. Incredible. Our defensive line is playing at a very high level right now, and I don't want to jinx them. They're playing. They're not perfect at all. As a matter of fact, they're very poor in some things they do. But as far as effort and energy and enthusiasm, esprit de corps, that whole unit is playing. I got to give credit to the coach. Mike Vrabel is really, they play like Mike coaches. And I imagine the way Mike played here. It's just high energy, intense, very close-knit group. Steve Miller comes in and gets a sack. Coach Fickle showed it to the team yesterday. The sideline erupted. Joe Hale was the first one to congratulate him. That doesn't happen by accident. It's because the leader of that unit, Mike Vrabel, they're buying what he's selling. That's a very much a positive right now. But overall, I thought we played well on defense. C.J. Barnett graded a champion, graded out 95%, very high, first game back. Brad Roby graded out 99%, very high, 11 out of 12. He had 12 opportunities, he made a play, 11 of them. And then co-players of the game, Michael Bennett, I keep telling you he's our best practice player. The correlation between that and performance is obviously very high. And he graded out 90% co-defensive player of the game. Very proud of him. And then Ryan Shazier is playing, didn't play as well as first game, but he started to look very active, ran some people down, very good awareness on screen plays, and that was Ryan Shazier. So I was very impressed with our defense. Just the energy. Once again, there's a lot of things we can fix. We're too soft on zone coverage. At times I thought we were too soft in man coverage, but I like the philosophy. We pressured. I had it written down on the other paper. We pressured more than we had the previous week. A couple comments. We're going out on a long trip across the country. I can't remember if I have experience doing that. When I was at Notre Dame, we built by USC, and that was a tough trip. We've got to really manage it well. We've got many discussions with people who have made that trip as well. We're going to leave Friday morning. I'll make sure we get them acclimated as much as we can and face a team that's going on 100. I think we're averaging 104 plays a game on offense. And so we need all able bodies to be ready to go. Braxton Miller will be a day-to-day decision. I just met with him today. He's feeling much better. Was a little stiff, which is a trainer and I and him just met 10 minutes ago, and he's feeling that the first 48 hours after that injury is very tough as far as it's a sprained MCL is what it is. And then Adolphus Washington has one injury. That'll be day-to-days also. Neither one of them disqualified for this game, but neither one was clear to play yet, so I'll just keep you posted on that. Any questions?
Back row, Clay.
Having coached a little bit out west, what do you think the culture and passion for the game is out there compared to here or the southeast?
I think it's my own experience with, I guess, Colorado State and Utah is extremely high. It's a very it's a pass happy, fast type atmospheres that I remember when we played out there. But I think this the new stadium here, it's incredible. Jeff Tedford is one of my closest friends, and he's been talking to me about this for years, getting that thing built, and obviously it's been built. So it's going to be a great atmosphere.
Front row left, Doug.
Urban, in a situation like this with Braxton, managing this with him, this injury, is it as simple as if he's healthy enough, he'll play, or is it possible that you would maybe hold him back at this stage in the season to err on the side of caution? Or?
I don't think so. No, I think it depends. If he's healthy to play and play like Braxton plays, which he's not your pocket quarterback. He does a lot of things for us. So those are the decisions. But if he's healthy to go, he'll certainly go. We're not saving anything there, hold back. I mean, this will be everything we got to win this game.
The times he left games last year, what happened on Saturday, is there anything in your mind that there is any durability questions with Braxton in terms of staying on the field?
No, I don't. The obvious that quarterbacks at times get hit, especially Braxton is kind of a fearless player. That was a pass that he ran on. It was third down and I think 2. That was a pass all the way. And then he saw an open seam and I said, that because the guy was actually open and he had to get the first down. But I like quarterbacks who think that way, get the first down. So I just think we have to always have plan B ready. And, now when plan B is in the game, that means plan C is not too far off. And that's one that we're working on as well right now.
Back row left, Bill.
Urban, these players today, it's all the national championship game. Probably the Rose Bowl itself, if it's Big Ten, Pac-10, may not be that big to them. Do you think going out west is what it used to be to people in the Midwest, players in the Midwest?
Great question. My only experience with that, Bill, is when I was at Notre Dame going out to USC. You'd think that'd be the biggest thing in the world. And I just sometimes wonder, is it really that? In the days that used to be a great rivalry. I can't speak for this. This would be my first time doing it. I would imagine it is. I don't know that. That's a great question, though.
Front row, Todd.
Urban, I know polls are real important to you at this time of the year, but any explanation that you have for dropping in the polls, especially after kind of having a relatively dominating win against an opponent with your back at the quarterback?
Yeah, I don't. Did we drop in the coaches? We did. I think, who was it, Oregon? Yeah, Oregon had a big win, I think, over Virginia. So can we explain it? Or does it impact us? It doesn't impact us, and I can't explain it. So I think at the end, in the end, I think everything's going to work out. The best teams will be up there.
Front row, Bill.
Was there any point Saturday where you gave any consideration to Braxton or that just let him play well, just let him go?
No, it was 20. It was kind of things. By the time I had that, maybe get him in the game, it was pretty well. It was 28-0, I think, or it was 21-0. So there was really never that consideration. Like you said, Kenny was managing very well. It was a kind of defense where management was really the key of the whole game, getting us in the right stuff at the right time, and Kenny's real strong at that. So there really was no conversation about that.
Braxton standing in the game half like the play, or is it since then they have to get ready for Saturday?
I'm sorry.
And did Braxton on Saturday say anything about, I'd love to get back in there, or is he saying since then?
Oh yeah. He wanted back in the game, and he feels very strong. I mean, he wants to play this weekend. We'll know more, I think, after that first 48 hours. Just from I'm letting you know an insider conversation here, but the conversation was we'll know more tomorrow morning. It's after the 48-hour period of this injury, we'll know more.
Front row, Tim.
Tim Columbus Dispatch. Urban, two quickies. Number one, is Cardale the next guy? Is he plan C at this point?
Plan C and D are real close to each other right now. We practiced them both yesterday. I just made preliminary travel plans of them both going, so we're gonna see. That's as of right now, Cardale's the first one in.
The addendum to that, but that's JT you're talking about?
JT,
yeah. Has he made tremendous progress since? I mean, just talk about him a little bit.
Well, it's hard when you're number 4. You know, he's a guy that doesn't get many reps. He's a very serious guy. He's how I like our quarterbacks to be. He's a real smart player. I had a good day on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday's practice. So he has made progress. How much? You know, he's been running a scout team really for us, so I haven't watched him that closely.
California's run almost, I think, more than 50 more plays than you guys have in 2 games. Number one, how do they do that, and what is the biggest challenge, you think, for your defense?
Defense would be the ball comes out so fast. It screens, it's quick passes. You don't really have a chance to get to the quarterback. You know, how do you disrupt passing is you disrupt the quarterback's flow and all that. So I have not studied them at all on offense yet. I will. Usually that's later in the week as I spend all my time on kicking and offense. I've talked to our defensive staff and rotation of defensive linemen to keep them fresh because they'll wear you out. And after a while, pass rushing is other than running pursuit, where sideline to sideline, pass rush is the most exhaustive thing for a defensive lineman. So just keeping them fresh so we can at least, when they do drop back, try to get a hand or two on the quarterback.
Front row, Austin.
Urban, your team has changed since a year ago. Cal's had some changes in coaches. How much would you watch last year's game as you prepare for this one?
I really want defensively completely different story. Remember that was they came out in that brand new defense that they worked on all year, and the guy's name he's at USC now, Clancy Pendergast, did a heck of a job. But one, a defense that we had not prepared for. This right now, I would say that's a new staff. They shot their gun against they had the Northwestern's a big game, so they're not going to have a new I can't imagine them because they have had some injury issues at safety too. So I think last year's game will be no impact at all.
You have 2 games of theirs to watch this year. Are you still looking elsewhere at what they've maybe done at previous stops, or are you now just zoned in on what they've done?
Defensively, it's all they hired a defense coordinator. Was at Wisconsin, so we'll watch Wisconsin. Ohio State, they defended us very well last year, so we're going to watch that one. Offensively, you'd have to ask Coach Fickle and Coach Withers that. Just so much of it's personnel based, but we did the summer preliminary scouting report. You always do on the first 3 opponents. So we did a summer report on Cal, so I'm sure there's some carryover that they'll watch some of the cut-ups from Louisiana Tech.
Middle, Dave.
Billy Brown was a running back in high school. He said he was a cornerback when he was recruited here. Can you just talk more about his evolution as a wide receiver? You talked about him boxing out now and things like that. Just how far?
Well, first of all, I bet he was a very poor running back. You can tell him I said that. Philly's done a great job. His evolution as a leader and performer in the weight room, the way he's taking care of himself, the way he's mentoring young people, he's fallen into that category of guys that have made a 180 in the way he handles his business academically. I'm a big Philly Brown guy right now, and I was not at all. So when I say that in good faith, that I really appreciate what he's done. So his transition, he's legitimate. He's a wide receiver. He's a wide receiver that I think has a future and maybe playing again after this year. And if you would have said that this time last year, I have no chance. So I really like what he's done. And it's more what he's done with his work ethic and who he is. I'm very proud of him. I mean, I'm sure his family they can see the difference as well.
Front row left, Lori.
Coach, Lori Schmidt, 97 Brooklyn fan. When a team does something occasional, like you did with your two-point conversions, or what Cal does with their formation where they have the offensive lineman and the fullback in the backfield, how long can you spend preparing for something like that? Because they only do it a handful of times, and yet they seem to be counting on unfamiliarity to get something done now.
Well, it's the same reason we did that. We call it the Aztec formation, the one that Kenny scored on. We put all 4 receivers real fast, went out there, and we were going to throw a screen. And that is really something that I believed in ever since we got into coaching, is that you have basically on Tuesday, now that you're in work week, you have Tuesday and Wednesday practice. And you have injuries you're dealing with. Adolphus Washington probably won't practice on Tuesday, so he's going to miss all those reps. And then on Wednesday, on Tuesday is all first down normal situation. And then on Wednesday, it's all red zone and third downs. And if you're going to spend your time working on stuff, then you're taking away from fundamentals. You're taking away stopping their 5 base plays, offense and rush and pass, and it's just a pain in the rear end. So they have to work on our field goal. They have to work on this Aztec formation, and then we're going to. So there's a lot of reasons to do it. One is to get a big hit, which we did, and the other one is just to just drive them nuts as far as what they have to prepare for. And those are the same issues we deal with. That's why I think college football is unique. I've talked to coaches that were maybe in the NFL. They don't see this kind of variety of stuff. But I think the creativity in college football is real.
So once the season starts,
You have 2 work days.
Is it all spent on preparing for the opponent, or do you spend any time tweaking what you do and
Yes.
improving your fundamentals?
Yes.
50-50?
Oh, that's a great. 51-49. I don't know. Depends if we're lousy, then it's probably 60-40 doing what we do. If we're a functional group of people, then it's more time spent on your opponent. And I'm proud to say that more of our time is spent now on. Last year, we were trying to get snap counts and ID targets and all that. Now we're enhancing our scheme.
Last question, middle, Jared.
Hi, Urban. Just wanted to ask, going back to the California game from a year ago, the Bigelow runs, the 2 long runs that he broke off, can you did your defensive staff use those as maybe teaching moments? Or was that game maybe a moment where your defense began to evolve into what they are and what they're trying to be, just sort of gleaning from that game?
Well, I think, and those are great questions for our defensive staff. What I probably saw a lot like you, because I was so immersed in offense and kicking game and just trying to develop a team, that I just saw very poor tackling and very poor leverage. Those are 2 fundamentals that's like blocking and protecting the quarterback on offense. Those are 2 fundamentals that if it's not good, you get exposed. And we were exposed. That was horrific. That's all if you can ask me, I can't tell you the defense, I can't tell you the play. I just tell you it was very, very poor tackling and very poor leverage on the football. And those things, if you watch our teams play right now, I think Luke and Everett have done a really admirable job fundamentally teaching that. And you can see a big difference. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.